Rain fell in sheets, the kind that didn't merely descend but seemed to weep from the heavens. On a bustling New York street, people hurried past a little girl huddled beside a bakery window, soaked and shivering, her small hands clutching an empty paper cup. "Do you have any expired cake?" she asked softly, hoping someone would notice. Most ignored her. All except one man. A man who had everything. In that instant he felt the hollow truth. Maybe he truly had nothing. This is the story of how a billionaire's heart was changed forever by a girl seeking only a piece of forgotten cake. Ethan Cole had been named Forbesman of the Year 3 times. Skyscrapers, tech ventures, luxury resorts, his empire had it all. Yet beneath tailored suits and layers of security, there was an emptiness success couldn't touch. Days blurred into endless meetings. Nights dissolved into silence. That evening, Ethan drove through downtown in his black Rolls-Royce, frustrated after losing another board deal. City lights shimmered on rain-slick asphalt like scattered broken stars. His driver slowed outside a small bakery, a warm corner shop redolent with nostalgic scents. And there she sat, a frail girl, no older than 8, cross-legged on the wet sidewalk, wearing a hoodie 2 sizes too big. Her lips quivered as she peered through the bakery window at a lonely cake, old and untouched. Ethan didn't know why, but something inside him stirred. "Stop the car," he said. The driver hesitated. "Sir, this isn't—" "Stop the car," Ethan repeated and stepped out, rain soaking his expensive shoes. The girl looked up, startled. Her eyes were gray. Not dead, but weary, as though they'd seen too much. "Hey," Ethan said gently. "Are you okay?" She looked down, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, sir. I wasn't begging from you. I just asked the bakery lady if she had any expired cake. I haven't eaten since yesterday." Her voice faltered mid-sentence. For a moment, Ethan was speechless. People asked for business favors, deals, or investments, but never expired cake. The bakery owner emerged, annoyed. "She sits here every night. I told her we don't give food for free. She should go to a shelter." Ethan's jaw tightened. He reached for his wallet, then paused. This wasn't about money, it was about understanding. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Lila," she whispered. "Lila Grace. Do you have family?" She hesitated. "I did. My mom, she used to bake cakes like those. She passed away 2 months ago. I ran away from the foster home. They were cruel. I just wanted to find her old bakery. She used to say, 'There's always sweetness left, even in what's expired.'" Her words struck him deeply. Ethan gazed at the bakery window once more, at that lone, unwanted cake. Something about it seemed symbolic, forgotten, like her. He bought the entire cake. The baker looked puzzled, but Ethan simply said, "It's for her." They sat under the awning, sharing it by hand. The girl's tiny fingers held each piece as if it were precious treasure. She smiled for the first time, and that single innocent smile shattered something inside Ethan's heart. He didn't know it yet, but that night marked the start of a journey that would forever change both of their lives. The next morning, Ethan struggled to focus on his meetings. The memory of Lia's thin hands and trembling voice lingered, haunting him. He tried to ignore it. After all, he had bigger concerns. But for the first time, those concerns felt meaningless. He returned to the bakery. She wasn't there. A wave of panic gripped him, inexplicable and raw. He told himself it wasn't his responsibility, but his heart refused to obey. He searched the nearby streets until he found her, asleep under a bridge, clutching a damp blanket. He knelt beside her, careful not to wake her. She seemed so small, so fragile. When she opened her eyes, fear clouded them. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked. "No," Ethan said gently. "You did everything right. But I can't just leave you here." He brought her to his penthouse, a world far removed from the cold streets. She stared around as if in a dream. Marble floors, sparkling chandeliers, the endless city view. But instead of awe, she whispered, "It's too big. I don't belong here." Ethan smiled, wistful. "Neither do I sometimes." Over the following weeks, Ethan arranged legal guardianship, schooling, therapy. But more importantly, he began to change. He canceled meetings to have breakfast with Lia. He visited children's shelters, funding programs to help orphans. The press called it the Billionaire's redemption. But to Ethan, it wasn't redemption. It was rediscovered love. One evening, Lia gave him a small box. Inside was a charm, a tiny piece of an old cake mold her mother had used. "I found it in the old bakery," she whispered. "You helped me remember that even old things can make something new." Tears filled Ethan's eyes. "Laya, you didn't just find sweetness in the expired, you brought sweetness back into my life." Years later, the bakery reopened, restored by Ethan and named Leia's Grace. Every evening, it gave free cakes to children who couldn't afford them. Above the door, a sign read, "There's always sweetness left, even in what's expired." Every time Ethan saw a child smile over a warm slice of cake, he remembered that rainy night, the night a homeless girl asked for expired cake, and a billionaire found his heart again. Sometimes the richest have nothing. Sometimes the poorest have forgotten how to love. Kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything.